This is probably the episode that you all have been waiting for. How do we transport those huge granite blocks? So let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're absolutely new to the channel, you should really watch the nutshell video first. It's just 90 seconds and will really help you to fully understand the content of this and other episodes. The biggest stone in the whole pyramid is one of the large granite blocks in the ceiling of the king's chamber. It's some 5 meters long, 2 meters wide and 1.2 meters high, and it is estimated to weigh 72 tons. If we can move that stone to its place, then we can deliver every stone of the pyramid, right? So we will build a 6-meter long sledge for that stone, and we will probably use that for the way from the port to the pyramid. But we definitely do not want to pull such a long sledge over the edge of the pyramid. That would be far too dangerous for both the workers and the stone itself. It took quite some effort to create that stone and transport it to the pyramid, so no, we don't want to run the risk of breaking it. Instead, we will put some 5 rails side by side, load that stone on 5 sledges and pull it sideways. To lift such a large stone, we will need a lot of power. If a standard large treadmill of 25 meters can lift a 2.6 ton stone, we will need 28 of those, or 700 meters of treadmill for 72 tons. At a height of 48.3 meters, the side of the pyramid is some 60 meters long. So we can set up a super treadmill of 60 meters, and for 700 meters in total we need some 12 of those super treadmills. So we have the 5 rails and the stone on one side and our 12 super treadmills on the other side. At a width of nearly 4 meters, those 12 super treadmills will span nearly 50 meters, and there will be some 150 meters between the treadmills and the upward rails. The 2 treadmills in the center will be able to pull perfectly straight, no problem here. The 2 treadmills adjacent to them will be 4 meters further outwards, and 4 meters on a length of 150 meters is a deviation of 1.5 degrees. I'm pretty sure the pegs that we use on our portals to guide the rope can easily handle that. But that's not the case for the outmost treadmills. They are 20 meters further outwards, giving a deviation of 7.5 degrees. That's probably too much for the pegs. So we can add some poles to guide the rope, so now we can pull straight again. That will add a little friction, but not very much, because the rope will only touch those poles for 2 times 7.5 degrees. I can say which method, pegs or poles, to use for the remaining treadmills, but for each of them we have at least one method that will work. But before we can start pulling, we will have to take a look at our near-end portal. 70 tons are no joke. That's the weight of a main battle tank. I don't worry about the ropes. If you can make ropes at all, you can make them of any size and length you want. I'm worried about the wood. Nature has designed tree stems to carry huge loads vertically, but much less horizontally. So we better modify our near-end portal. Better safe than sorry. So we will not build a 6-meter wide portal. Instead, we will build 4 of them, making the upper log just wide enough to carry 3 of the ropes. But now the load is no longer sustained vertically by the pyramid, so we will take a rope or 2 to secure the pillars of the portal. With such a design, we can obviously no longer pass the stone through the portal, but that's not a problem. Once the stone has made it over the edge, we will just move those 4 portals out of the way. We don't have to do that very often. For the horizontal part of the journey, we'll only need some 25% of the total power, and we can use some of the other treadmills as a starting aid, so the stone will finally reach its destination. There is one more very important thing to consider. The 12 treadmills have to pull at the same speed all the time to keep the stone leveled. If one side of the stone moves faster than the other, especially on the upward part, that could or probably would lead to disaster. In order to achieve that, we will do 2 things. First, we will reduce the walking speed on the treadmills. That should give us more time to orchestrate the 12. And second, we will use a little rope trick. We will attach ropes from the outmost rope to the outmost rope on the other side, and likewise the other side again. So we have a cross using 2 stopper nuts. With this setup, if one side of the stone should lag behind, it will automatically borrow some power from the other side, and so the stone can safely reach its destination. Our 12 super treadmills covering 50 meters will of course interrupt the normal operations of 2 or so adjacent lines, but as the 7 or 8 granite blocks for the ceiling will come right one after another, that would only be a short interruption. So that's it for today. Please like, share and subscribe, hit the bell icon and leave your thoughts in the comments. Now that we know how to move the biggest stones, there are still some riddles left to solve. So see you in the next one.